la la. I love you like la 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 la.
All right.
La,
Good
la,
morning,
la, la.
everybody.
I love you.
We are starting the Get Your Business Dialed In. Okay. Like very, very, very exciting. No matter what kind of business you are in, and even if your business is, I just really want to grow my social media. I, want to be an influencer. I want to get paid to post about clothes. Like whatever it is, we are going to help you get dialed in to it. Okay. And I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on Instagram. However, this can be applied to Facebook in just kind of like a little bit different of a way. Or TikTok, obviously you get basically your bio and then you get the content that you put out there. So a little bit more hyper focused on Instagram. I'm an Instagram girl. Okay. It is where I predominantly have grown my business and utilized my business. However, I know people use whatever avenue you want. This is by no means saying you have to be on Instagram. I'm just letting you know, like that's kind of the hyper focus of this. Okay. So no matter what you sell, what you do, we're very excited to have you. Okay. So I'm going to just dive right into it because I know time is of the essence. And so I'm going to screen share the first three things that you need to get your business dialed in. Okay. So you can totally take a screenshot of this if you want. If you're taking notes, that's definitely also recommended. But the first thing is your attractive bio. Okay. And obviously I am partnered with Money. And so that a lot of my stuff, you'll see that, but fill in the blank with your company. Okay. If you're a realtor, you can definitely say like, I, help people with their dream home or like something that relates to your business. But you don't want to necessarily, if you're in network marketing, have your network marketing company name like right up in there. Okay. People will see it and click out so fast without even really giving you a chance. And so the attractive bio is really important. I think this is a place for you to talk about your personality. This is a place for you to share. One of my favorite lines is one of the girls on my team. She had in her bio, and it made me chuckle because she said, "I'm probably in the car pickup line." And I thought, wow, that is like that. I'm a mom that goes to the car pickup line, I relate to this, And so it just made her likability factor go up right in that instant second because I could connect. That is what your bio. I'm not saying copy her, especially if you have, kids that are older or younger, but like something to really kind of showcase in a quick sentence what your personality in life is like. So this isn't necessarily where you have it like listed out. Like this isn't your, Tinder profile or your dating profile where you're like, I'm a Gemini and I like long walks on the beach and, or like I have 3 kids. Sam, Will, and Finley. Like, this isn't where you like bullet point the facts about you. This is where you get to showcase your personality. Okay. It's the first thing people look at. You don't want it to be super long. You want it to be sort of quick and to the point. And for me, I'll tell you, I changed mine recently because for a long time it just said, I want to give you a laugh or inspire growth. And on the good days, accomplish both. I'm cheesy like that. I love things that rhyme. But I recently changed it because I realized people don't really know like specifically what they're coming to my page for. So when we first look at, and maybe some of you guys are stumped right now, like what am I? This is great. You want to soul search. You want to figure out what is my purpose with this Instagram. I got the opportunity. Now I'm detouring because it's just coming to my head, but I got the opportunity to share to meet with yesterday a woman who has grown her Instagram, had never stepped on the platform until 2021, and she has over 100,000 followers, and she's someone I go to for Instagram tips. And she's in network marketing, and she was at this mastermind, and she's like, well, I have all these things about me. Like I love my kids more than anything, but I don't ever talk about them on my Instagram because when I think about what I want to educate on, it's Instagram. And it really, really helped me like go, wow, you really have to kind of be focused on what do you want the purpose of your social media to be? Because so many people get on and they're just like kind of throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And of course, when you post pictures of yourself or your kids or your, family, typically that tends to get a little bit more interactions from people, especially when you're first starting out, because people follow you to see you. But your goal isn't to get a lot of likes and like kind of give the people what they want, so to speak. It's to figure out, what do you want to do here creatively? What is your purpose? The number one mistake that people make is they go, I'm gonna like brand myself as whatever my company is, or like I'm gonna always kind of give the realtor example as well as network marketing. I feel like that's majority of our group, but it would be like you saying Keller Williams Ashley, or like Arbonne Haley. Like you want to be your own brand. Like this is the time for you to step into it. And while your purpose for growing your social media is to grow your business, what is going to help you attract people to you is having your page dialed in really well, having a clear purpose, and bringing value to people through what you're sharing. That's not just one big advertisement for Keller Williams, your real estate business, or one big advertisement for your network marketing business. I happened to go recently to a mastermind, and it was all real estate based. I'm in no way, shape, or form interested in real estate. However, I went there to network because I thought, wow, this is going to be a room full of really driven, amazing people. So one of the speakers was a social media coach, and he was there to share how to help realtors sell. And he said, what you need to do is Google the top questions that realtors are asked. And then guess what? Now those are all your reels. You're just answering all those questions. So instead of people going to Google, they're coming to you for their real estate questions to be answered. And I thought, that is so brilliant. That's kind of what we do in network marketing. It's like, what are the top things people Google about health supplements, about beauty products, about services, about life insurance, like all the different network marketing companies that exist. So you're bringing value to those people that are looking for that thing. I thought that was great and worth mentioning right here in the beginning, because I know for a lot of people, and when I'm sitting down to coach someone, they're like, well, I just want to sell the product or sell the business opportunity. And I'm like, but if you just start doing that without bringing value to yourself, you're going to turn people off. You're going to seem spammy, and it's just not going to work out. So you want to share, also kind of honing in on who you are, what your purpose is here, and sharing your story. Okay. And when I think about myself, how I built my first Instagram platform to at one point it had over 150,000 followers. It got its own blue check mark. I mean, it's crazy what happened with it. It was a mommy and me account. And my daughter that I adopted has cerebral palsy. And it was really more so a thing that I started so that people wouldn't feel sorry for me or us. Like that was why I started sharing. But it grew into this huge thing because I was niched down. I was sharing the same thing every day. I was posting every day. I had a positive spin. It was educational for people that were looking to adopt or maybe had a child with special needs. And I was just sharing my journey, and it grew into something that ended up, we did several pilots for different TV shows. She was asked to be on Steve Harvey, their Ellen show. It ended up a lot of opportunities came from just growing a platform that was niched and had a purpose. And, granted, I pivoted over because she got older and didn't want to do it. But I'm saying this because you have no idea what you being here ready to start this and hone in on this and get better at this is going to do for you just in general, not even to mention your business. Okay. So I just it's such a big world out there, and one post can change your whole life. Does that mean that you have to solely focus on that one thing? No, it's kind of like, and I think Fraser said it on, one of our other calls, but you don't go running just to do the run. You do it because you love running. And that's kind of the goal, is to get you to love sharing on your social media and feel so clear about your purpose and what you're doing that it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Because I know comparison is one of the biggest things that discourages people and makes people want to stay away from the platform and stay away from the school and take social media breaks, which are kind of the worst thing you can do if you're really trying to grow a platform and a business. So when you're so clear on your own vision, you won't get blurred by comparing yourself to anyone else. And I know this from many, many years of experience. Okay. Because of, yeah, anyway, I don't want to detour too much. Okay. So I'm going to go back to screen sharing. Let me get my page. But attractive bio is key. And this is the first thing people look at, but there's also other things that people look at, and we're going to kind of get into that. Okay. So did you know, and then I'll do some questions at the end. Did you know that on your Instagram page, as of right now, you can have 3 pinned actual posts and then 3 pinned reels? You can. This is not where, I mean, I know some people would like to be like, oh, this was my most viewed reel. I have, 2 million views on this reel, and it really has no purpose. There's no educational value to it. It's just impressive that I have a 2 million view of me dancing in my kitchen, so they will pin that to the top because it's like a badge of honor. This is dishonoring your business. This is dishonoring your purpose. Unless your sole purpose is to grow your social media, then of course, yeah, those are the badge of honor. You're showing that you have the ability to have viral posts. But if you're looking to grow a business and monetize this thing, you want to have those 3 pinned reels be very informative and educational on you, what you do, products you sell, testimonials. If you're a realtor, I would have testimonials, people super happy in their home, like clips of it, and like showing your value and why someone would want to hire you or use you. And so the same goes for your 3 pinned posts. I happened to be prospecting one night in a country that we had opened up, and this got me kind of looking at social media in a different way. And I was going to people's pages that were supposedly, seasoned in their network marketing business. And I couldn't tell you what company I couldn't tell you anything about them because their page was just all over the place. Their bio wasn't really clear, right? It was super cryptic. And their highlights were all over the place. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want anyone that I'm training to be kind of I want it to be very clear to where if someone's coming to your page, they can find out everything they need to know about what you do. And so the 3 pin posts need to be this. Something that encompasses you. And now I will screen share my Instagram. Some people in the waiting room. Okay. So via cable. Okay. So this is where you can really, really, really dial yourself in. These should be the next 3 things that you do. Okay. About me, see my top pin post. You come to my page, you're like, oh, okay, she uplift. Oh, I was going to read that to you guys earlier. Uplifts women in business. Okay. Mama of 3. I do like to write adoption on there. I don't really necessarily feel like that identifies the way I view my motherhood experience, but it definitely, if you are an adoptive mom and you stumble across this, you are way more likely to follow me if I have adoption somewhere that you can see, because oh, wow, she's an adoptive mom too. So again, it's that instant connection for people. And then, I do put the hairstylist thing, just give myself a little credibility that I work on a TV show doing hair. I'm an aspiring speaker. I've only spoken on a handful of stages. So that's also something I would like to be known for and be hired for. So I have that up there. So it's all very purpose. I just changed it because I want to hone in a little bit more on what I want out of this. So I have to be clear on what I'm saying. So if you're looking to really help people make money from their phone, that needs to be in there too. And I think at one point mine did say that. So, but it changes with me. It changes how I change. Okay, so the 3 pin posts. About me needs to be about you. Show yourself, all the different sides of you. I wanted to share about, you know, my family, the different things I've done, you know, how I'm getting to live the life of my dreams, how I work on this show. I get to do fun. I look fun. I travel and I do these fun things. And so that's so that in an instant, if you see a reel of mine and you go, huh, that's kind of funny, and you come to my page, you go, wow, okay, I can learn all about Christina right here. And it's front and center. And of course, I believe it's the first place that, because I know, because I was tapping everybody's pin post when I was prospecting and I was looking for certain things, and like even educational accounts and different things. So about me, my results, something that showcase, and it could be, if you're a realtor, I would have my testimonials. My testimonials, or maybe current houses you have listed. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that you can do with these pin posts, but it's kind of just to help you give you an idea, but clearly stated. That social media guru that I got the opportunity to meet, I mean, she went to 100,000 followers in less than 2 years. And she does every kind of social media tip. She asked me for permission to copy my pinned post. She's like, that is so genius. I don't know why I've never thought of that. And I'm like, well, I actually do trainings on how to do this. And that's kind of like what's the most valuable thing, is like those simple things that are going to make you stand out in your business next to the next person. Okay. So you should have your testimonials or your results, and then one all about your opportunity. So if you're in network marketing, it should be all about your opportunity, and different things that have to do with your business. You guys can check mine out too if you want to like have like a better example of like what the caption looks like for that. But that's basically the three things. So if you're a realtor, it could be all about like why they should hire you, you know, like if you're a social media influencer, it could be your analytics, like to where people can scroll through and be like, wow, she's really grown, like somewhere where you can like prove yourself for whatever the business is that you have. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Are we good? Is this a lot? Does it make sense? Okay. So then for the reels, I kind of keep those same categories. Like one all about you, one all about your products. Yay. Okay, good. I'm recognition driven. So like the more flames and love I get in the caption, the better this gets. No, I'm just kidding. But I also and then one all about your opportunity. And you guys, I'm going to tell you this because I spoke with, and I think I shared this on a call before. I went to a different conference. I go to a lot of conferences. I like to network. Okay. So, and I love to hear about people's business experience because that grows my experience. So there was a woman, I met her. She owned a trucking company. And like, basically like if you wanted to start your own trucking company, she's the one-stop shop that you go to. She'll get you the licensing. She'll get like literally insurance, all of it, and the truck. So I'm like, that's really cool. I've never even knew something like this existed. Super cool. So I went to go to her page to just reconnect with her after the event. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share about her business on my profile. That's going to bring value to me because I'm willing to share about her business and like help drive business to her. She was like sort of starting out. She'd been doing a couple years. And there was no post that just had a clear overview of her purpose. Her whole page was about it. It was a mess. Everything was everywhere. So I could funnel through posts and get little bits of information, but there was no one post where it was just her clear as day sitting and explaining, are you interested in starting a trucking business? Do this, do that, do this, do that. This is what I will offer you, right? Bringing the value to her business. And so I sent her a voice note and I was like, hey, I wanted to share about you. No clue how I would even help you or who I would send to you or why or what you offer. I'm like, why don't you make one 30-second, 30-second to a minute video and pin that to the top of your page? And so she did. And so later she ended up sending me like a thank you message. Like it's really helped her sustain because she has all this amazing content. But if you see a reel that catches your attention, there has to be a place where people can go to get the whole story. Because reels are just fragments of stories out there, right? And so anyway, just to give you an example for someone in a completely different field, how important this story is, and what story do you want to tell? And my story has changed over the years. Before it would just be like, what is the most appealing thing to me? What is the thing I aspire to have? What is the thing that I hope to gain from this business that I'm in? That would be the first thing that you would share, because it would help someone that's watching you be like, wow. And that's the start of the journey, which Fraser did talk about, that transformation process. So you have to say your goals first, and we know them because we write them down in our planners, right? We write them down. This thing doesn't not go anywhere with me. We write them down, so we got to share them so people know that. Because when you're talking with someone, you're going to tell that to them. You have to tell it to your social media and have it somewhere where it's easily identified. Okay, good. Aha moments. Are we having aha moments? Yay. Okay. And you guys, I know I could sell this in a course. I could sell this in a $500 course, but isn't it just so much better to just give it to you for free? All right. So now we've talked about our bio, and please, for the love of God, make your main profile pic a nice, well-lit picture of you. I don't want to see an emoji. I don't want to see a faraway pic where it's like you're sitting on a rock in the water way back in the distance. You know, like we want to see your face. Okay. And even there's like cool things that you can do where you can like make the background one color. I see a lot of people do that. So, but yeah, you want it to be your face. This is your social media. Your face is your brand. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the next thing. That should be the first thing that you go do though. Like homework today, get your pin post dial in. And I will tell you this too. I will redo these pinned posts because they actually work really well for me. Because hey, these are my pillars. And the pillars, I know we shared in the chat what pillars are, but they are basically your personality and things that my goal, and this should be your goal. And I actually watched Kris Jenner's mastermind all about personal branding. And it was so cool because as I'm watching these like little 7-minute clips on my flight of Kris Jenner talking about branding, like talk about a branding expert. Okay. I was like, oh, I teach that. And it was really cool to be like, wow, but there was a few things I learned and we're going to share. So in your personal branding, a lot of people will say to niche down. Okay. And like by niche, I mean like post about one thing. Like my girlfriend who, built her Instagram to 100,000 followers in less than 2 years, only sharing Instagram tips. That was a niche. Let's teach people about Instagram on Instagram. Okay. So really amazing, but she's so niched now that when she shares about anything else, she loses followers because they only want to follow her for that. So this is why you building your brand. It's all these facets of you. And as you grow and you evolve, I used to you went shopping with me every Thursday for wine. And I would go in the grocery aisle. I'd be like, ooh, what's the coolest bottle? I'm going to try this wine. I would do little wine reviews. That was a big way of how I built my platform. And so people would often, if it was the wine that I bought that Thursday and people saw it at the store, they would take a picture and message it to me. They would buy it and try it and then tag me when they were trying it. Like they were, and I didn't sell wine. I wasn't in the wine business, but I wanted it to be where if you saw someone with cerebral palsy, you thought of me. If you saw a white Cadillac, you thought of me. If you saw this wine, you thought of me. If you saw, I had a bunch of spiders on my trash can one day and I made like a 3-day like series on my social media about it. I still have people bring it up to me. There was like a bunch of little white eggs around and I did this whole series. I went out with oven mitts. I got on a getup. Like it was content. I had spiders on my trash can and I turned that into amazing content. And it was blurry. It's blurry. It's not beautiful content, but it was amazing because I had so many interactions for months. If anybody saw a spider on their trash can, they were taking a picture and DMing it to me. The idea with your brand is you want people to think of you in all these other things. And Kris Jenner said that that's like what the Kardashians have done is you can see, you know, big butts and you think of the Kardashians. You can see plastic surgery, you think of the Kardashians. You can see that, you think of the Kardashians, you know, like, and all their different things. I actually didn't watch the show, believe it or not. So I have no idea about a lot of them, but just like that element. So if that kind of gives you any aha moments too, and I will say the most mundane things will help attract people to you. Okay. I made eggs like every Saturday. Once I was able to be home on Saturdays, I would make eggs and I would ask people, how do you make scrambled eggs? And it's so crazy. Some people crack it on the pan. Like I learned a lot, right? Filling up your gas tank. Did you know some people turn it upside down and put it in? Did you know that? Like I did that one day on my stories. I'm like, someone told me to do this, so I'm trying it. Have you tried it? That became content. And now then guess what? For weeks, people are trying it and tagging me and posting it as content on their social. So the idea isn't just to be, you do want people, like I do want people to think of me when they think of like my company and my products. I do want them to think of me as like, because the key with your business is that people need to know that you are doing that business. So that's also really important. So there's like this thing called the 80-20 rule where you want to post 80% of your pillars, which is things that make up your personality. And, you know, I'm trying to think if I have any really good trainings on the top of my head about it that are universal. I'll probably have to make one. But your personality, like where people that know you, like know you really well, can watch it and be like, oh, that's exactly how she would do it with me. But a lot of people get on social media and they start trying to be someone else. And then you're just not going to get very far in growing your following because there's a disconnect. And I see it all the time. I have women partner with me and then they try to show up like this expert, but behind the scenes, they're like so silly and like the funniest person. And I go on their social media, I don't see funny anywhere. I'm like, we need to see your funny. We need to see your silly side. And then guess what? Lo and behold, the connections begin because it's actually who they are. And now, spoiler, I'm almost 4 years alcohol free. And so transitioning out of all the wine I used to post on a regular basis, every night at 4 p.m., I would have a glass of wine. I think most people should have known there was some sort of issue. But I'm now, and so that's transition. And guess who's a lot of people I welcome to my team lately? Sober women, because I've been sharing about my alcohol-free journey. They want to partner with me and be a part of my business or buy from me or support me because we have that in common. And I'm not saying you need to go get sober, but I'm saying if you're not sharing these things that make you you, you're not going to have that connection with people. And the first part of my business really was a lot of hairstylists, shocking, and other special needs moms. That's all I was really talking about. So what you're talking about and those things of you, and when as you share you and you meet people who are like you, who have an interest in, let's say, knitting, calligraphy, software building. I mean, like whatever your passion is, that should be what you're talking about, because then you're going to attract people that have the same passion. And then you find your people. It's so amazing. There's a thing called top of mind awareness. This was another conference I went to. And the guy that shared about this was, I'm blanking on his name, but he's literally doing like all these tours with like Ed Milet and all these big name speakers. And he was saying that that something that is so simple and like insignificant to you is magic to other people. And this is why we see like the most bookmarked posts are tips. Recipes and tips are truly the most bookmarked posts. And that's what you want people doing. You want people bookmarking your stuff. And so he gave this example. Let's say you're a plumber or your husband's a plumber, whatever. You're a plumber. And you're like, well, I do plumbing all day. That's like, how can I grow a social media? Well, if you fix your leaky sink and you say, this is the tool that you need, this is where you can get it, this is how much it is, this is like, quick trip to Home Depot, you crank it like this, you take off this piece, da, 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 and you explain it in like 30-second breakdown, every single person that has a broken sink this is like the saving the day for them, that you've provided this value. And to you, it's so mundane and boring. But to these people, it is magic. People are going to bookmark that. They're going to send it to their friends if they hear that their friend has a broken sink. Like that. So just to give you one tiny example of those things. So if you're someone that sews, I mean, I can't tell you how many bookmark posts I have about people folding a fitted bed sheet. You know, or like oh my gosh, there's so many different tips over the years that I've saved. And so it's like, I know some people just want to be a tip page, and like, that's what you're kind of known for. Like, so anyway, just to like kind of get your creative juices flowing. If you're a baker, don't just share your recipes. I follow this one girl, she's a keto girl, and she literally, she makes it and she shows it all cute, but it's always her taking a big bite out of it. And I love to see it. I don't know why, but like, that's like her staple, is like, you're going to watch her eat what she just made. And I'm like, I don't see a lot of other accounts doing that. Like, I feel like that's like made her really unique and stand out to me. And then she shares stories of like who taught her how to bake. What, like, how did she fall in love with it? And there's like pictures of her with her grandma, and like, it just, that story sucks you into it. And so you know, I became a hairstylist. I have this picture. Oh God, here I am crying. I have this picture of my dad, who's now passed away, but like, I have this picture of him washing my hair, and when I was little. And it's like, I love sharing that story about it, and people connect to the real emotions of your life. Like, if it makes you cry, if it makes you get emotional, most people want to like hoard that kind of stuff off their social media because I don't want to get emotional. I'm like, if it makes you want to cry, you better go live and go talk about it, because it's going to relate to somebody and help somebody or bring somebody peace. My dad died. I got diagnosed with infertility. My daughter was born with special needs. I went through a lot of grief. So grief was a big thing I talked about, and it connected me with a lot of people. So if you're going through something, teenager parents, toddler life's hard, mom life's hard, you're in postpartum, like whatever it is you're going through, maybe you have kids so spread out and you're like, I feel like I'm like in all the phases of parenting. Maybe you're just newly starting out. Share your real emotions. People will connect with your real emotions. Okay. And this is something that's great to do in your stories and on your feed and in a live. I know that comes up a lot when I say, you know, like the content guide, for example, that we provided. People are like, well, what is this supposed to be? Like, people are very analytical, like, tell me exactly what it is. And it's like everywhere. You want that spirit of whatever it is everywhere. And so if someone goes to your page and they read it and they go, wow, but then they go to your stories and then they hear you talking about it. And then there's a reel that gets made that drives the people to the post, you know, because they're going to come see more about you. It just really helps build the value of your page on your own page. Okay. So I take all kinds of detours. I can't do a 20-minute training to save my life. Okay. And then we're going to go into highlights real quick, because this is the next thing that people go into is, you know, they're going to look at your bio, you know, they'll see your picture. They're going to look at your bio. They might click around on your, like, you know, top pinned posts. And then they're going to go into, okay, what are in these highlights? Because those are typically like active things that you're doing. Drop a 1 in the chat if you do not know what a highlight is. I just kind of want to get, drop a 2 in the chat if you know what it is. Okay, I saw a 1. Okay, I'll explain it real quick. When you are sharing in your stories, this is your place to like really elaborate. You could do, you know, however many 30-second slides that you want in your stories. And I have a training that's free. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called Breadcrumbs. It's one of the first things I share with anyone that partners with me. It just kind of teaches them the art of storytelling, instead of just being like, oh, here's a graphic, and then, oh, no, I don't want to pressure you to do anything. You know, like it kind of teaches you that art of storytelling and why it's important. But in your stories, you can elaborate more. So you can have a post that says, you know, like, I have more information if you're interested on this topic in my stories. But instead of it just being timed out in 24 hours, you can actually turn a story series into a highlight that's stored. So I will have the post direct people to a highlight instead of my stories. And then that way, that post, whatever algorithm is, if it's a reel, whatever algorithm gets taken off into, it always has a direction to send someone where they can get a whole story. And that's the opportunity for me to use my face and my voice and take people along for whatever the story is. Okay. So for example, if it's I don't want it to be super company specific. Okay, this is a good one. We'll just go with the Hall of Fame. Okay. So I recently had all these like cool things happen with the Hall of Fame. This is not about that, but I'm just giving you an example. So it's my most recent highlight. So in it, let's say someone sees a post that I've done and it's like about the Hall of Fame. Okay. In it, it says, if you want to read more about this, check out the Hall of Fame highlight. Okay. Because people get nosy, right? They're like, what is that? Or like, so for you, it could be like this recipe. If you would like to see more about this recipe, go check it out in my highlight. You can direct people wherever you want to elaborate. Okay. So, and then my intermittent fasting journey. You could go and there's a highlight where people can hear, because people ask me all up in the, messages like, what were you eating? What did you do? And I'm like, go look at the highlight. Cause then that's all the conversations that I'm not going to have. Right. So it's like, you can use your highlights as like tools, time-saving tools to bring value. You can explain it once and then it just explains it over and over for you. So, we could actually do how far back is it? Okay. Well, we'll just go to the Hall of Fame one. Okay. So I'm going to open it up. It's an intro. And then guess what it is next?
All right. So what is this Hall of Fame? Okay. It is put on by Eric Ward. This is not a company thing.
You get the point though, right? Like it's a place where you can go to get the whole explanation. You can do this for your company. You can do this for your story. You can do this for your products. You can do this for your comp plan. You can do this for whatever you want. Because when you post something and you think everyone's seen every post that you've done, so you're like, oh well, surely they know. They don't. So you always want to have somewhere that explains in its entirety everything, and then you make those your highlights. So I would say that there's all about you and your story and your journey on social media or whatever it is, but like your why should be a highlight that people can go and find and relate to. And in your why, you need to include everything about you. Like I try to relate to people in any way. Like I will say, I was born and raised in Southern California. I moved around a lot. I was always the new kid in school. I was a pastor's kid. I was the black sheep of my family. These are 4 things that aren't necessarily essential to whatever I'm saying, but they might connect with someone that's listening. And now they're going to be like, oh, I was that too. I'm going to follow. And this is how I collect more people that I have more things in common with, because I'm stating all these things about myself all the time. And so the easiest thing to do, or the simplest thing to do on social media, is like literally just get to show up and be ourselves. Even if you're a paid influencer, they want you to say it how they want it. They need keywords, they need the code, they need it say ad. Like there's so much red tape in influencing. We would make like sometimes $10,000 on a post. Like we did a whole thing with Steve Madden. Like I've done that world, and I'm telling you, this and building your own business is so much better. It's so much better. But there's so much red tape. So just getting to show up how you want, what you want, say what you want, put it in there, and just really exploring, getting to know yourself. This is why showing up and sharing your face is so important, because it's a journey for you too. Like my first videos don't look anything like how I am now. Like I've grown into who I am after, I don't even know. I've been doing it since 2013. So a long time, over 10 years, I guess. Okay. So I think that is it. for the first chunk of getting your social media dialed in. I just gave you guys a ton of homework that you can go do. So feel free to tinker around on and put your own spin on it, on your pinned posts, doctoring up your bio a little bit, maybe, getting your picture. And you guys, pro tip on getting a nice picture, literally, it doesn't have to be professional, okay? iPhones are amazing. iPhones are great. I'm sorry if you have an Android, but you can like set up a timer, always face a window. So get ready, face a window, set on the timer, step back and have it take a picture of you, okay? Oh, someone asked, this is a great question. How do you put text on your pinned posts? So I use an app called Canva, and it is a great investment into your business because there is so many business tools. A lot of, I mean, I feel like most businesses use Canva. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with that app as well. You can do it on your desktop. You can do it on your phone real quick. And I would say that. Okay, next question is, also, when you go live, is it important to put a cover photo with a text? So I think if you are going to add a cover photo, I'll give you guys an example. Because how many of you guys have done this? You saw a post, you forgot to bookmark it, you didn't send it to yourself, you didn't save it, you didn't like it or interact with it, but you remembered it. And you're like, okay, I remember who did it. And you go to their page and it's like one of those like aesthetic pages and you can't find it because it's just like everything's like a picture of her with a coffee cup, but the reel was her in her house, you know, talking about a blender. Like, you know, you're like, I can remember what it looks like in my head, but her page is so aesthetic with these cover photos that I can't find what I'm looking for. And then you lose it, right? And it's the same thing for like having your name in your brand, whether it's, you know, one of my business partners, her brand was her company name. She used to build wood furniture. And so her brand was Salvaged Soul. And so that was what she was known as. I mean, she'd be at Disneyland and people would be like, Salvaged Soul. Like people didn't even know her first name, but that was fine because you could find her on Facebook as Salvaged Soul. You could find her on LinkedIn as Salvaged Soul. You could find her anywhere as Salvaged Soul. But if you have like a name that's like, you know, Ashcat234, people don't know that, right? My first Instagram account was Fifi and Mo, but so was my Facebook, so was my my PayPal, so was my email, so was like, you could find me as that, and people actually thought my name was like Monique or something. So, but branding is fine. It doesn't have to be your name, but if you are like just starting out, do not put your company name, like Arbonne with Haley or, you know, Monate with Christina. Like, don't do it. Like, brand yourself because you're so much more than just that. You have a story, you have a history. Who were you named after? How did you meet your husband? How did you pick your kids' names? Where did you get your dog? Like, there's so many stories that you can tell that are pieces of you. And that has nothing to do with that title up in there other than you. I like Naughty Nikki. I know you're Naughty Nikki. Hey. Oh my gosh, I love Naughty Nikki. But yeah, I mean, and things like that. Like, we know you as that, you identify as that. But if it's like so random that you're like, I don't even know why that is my Instagram name, change it. Change it. And I get, for safety, a lot of people don't like to use their last name. That's fine. Use your first and middle. We got so many of them. So many of them. The simpler you can make it, the better. And mine's so freaking long, you guys. Christina A. Smallwood is so long. And that's something I say when I'm exchanging Instagrams, like I did the last 2 days. I'm like, it's just so long. I know. It's like, and like, it just kind of gives us something else to talk about too, you know? So, I'm not saying you have to try and make yours long, but just saying everything should be a talking point, you know, and you can elaborate pretty much on anything. I met a girl that sells water systems. And her Instagram handle was so cute. As soon as she said, I'm the water Barbie. And I was like, that is the cutest. And so we had a whole conversation about her brand name. And I'm like, I'm never going to forget the water Barbie. And she was the total doll. Like, I'm like, that is so like, should I be the hair Barbie? The beauty Barbie? I don't know. I'm not a Barbie. Okay. So anywho, I'm getting off topic, but let me see what the other questions. Okay. So someone said, I've seen a couple people ask me about the slides. Okay, so I'm going to give you what is this is very specific to network marketing on these slides. And I know we obviously have a ton of network marketers. So let me share that. Okay. So for network marketers, it would be the 6 highlights. Your why, which is your story, right? All those things about you. Where did you grow up a little bit? I mean, you don't have to go too long, just touch on it. That way, if someone also grew up in Kentucky, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm from Kentucky. And you're going to get to start a conversation with somebody. Okay. Your unboxing. This is like you with, you know, if you do sell products that come in a box, this is where you would share that. If you sell services, you would talk about basically like how someone would get started. You would kind of like walk them through that process. So I mean, I'm just trying to help this relate to so many different businesses. If you have if you sell or partner with a company that has a customer base, this is something that you would have, and I call it like VIP, what I say is a customer funnel, where if someone's interested in the products at all that you offer, they can tap on this highlight for more info. You would call it that, more info. And it can explain to them the little like story about your products, like why they're different, what the value is. I have these 2 on my profile if you want to go like snoop and see mine, just for an example. But they're slides, they're uniform. I add my pictures to them, and it gives people like all the information in one place. So that way, every single post, I don't feel pressured to give all the information in one place. I could just share about one product and say, for more info, go check out my more info highlight. And that system, I could have 10 reels out there. And I do. I have 10 reels out there, minimum, that are working for me while I'm doing this call, getting people to go look at that highlight and then take my quiz. And I'm lead capturing literally right now. And that's all a system that is functioning while I'm sleeping. And so I wake up to emails and I wake up to texts and stuff, because not only do I have the reel out there going to reach people, but I also have the highlight that's going to come capture them and give them all that information, so that it's not relying on me to be awake and right by my phone when they're DMing me. And more people will go look at a highlight than they will DM you. I'll just tell you that. So that's for your customers. And then an MP funnel would also be known as like a distributor funnel. So again, if someone's interested in the business, this is like where they can go to get all the details of the business and like walk them through what it looks like. Okay, so you're kind of interested. Here would be the next steps. Like you're walking people through that process so that they don't have any questions. Most people are too nervous to ask that kind of thing to somebody. So if you're walking them through it, then they go, oh, a confused mind says no, but someone that's not confused is way more likely to say yes. So that helps. And then one on your comp plan. So I know there are some like even real estate network marketing companies, but it would be something like, you know, just breaking down your comp plan. How do you get paid? How often do you get paid? What kind of commissions do you get? What does the comp plan look like? What are the caps? What are the requirements? Because again, a confused mind says no. So if people are aware of all this potential, or, you know, what you have to offer, they're way more likely to start asking you questions and start that conversation with you, versus just, you know, avoiding it altogether. And then the last one we have is our MDC, which you could equate in your company as like testimonials of success, and share those stories of people that are really successful in your company. And don't up talk a lot of people's success. I like to always kind of talk about and focus on like where they started. I think that's what's going to relate most people to your network marketing business, is who was that person when they started. Some of the top people in these companies, and I was literally at a network marketing event, so I got to hear all these different stories of how people started. They all started with like negative bank accounts. They literally had to have yard sales to make money, to make their initial investment. They had to go to a bank and get a loan, and they got denied to start their network marketing company. So share where people started and then how successful they got. Because if you're like, hey, she was a high school dropout, she had to take out a payday loan, she had no idea what she was doing in sales, but she just knew she was going to try. And the person that she joined with said, you're going to go live every day. Like if you do these things, you will be successful. And now she's earned millions of dollars. And, you know, I want to do that. And I want to help people do that. So when you share other people's stories, that's not my story. I wasn't a high school dropout and needed a payday loan to start this, but maybe someone that's following me, maybe they don't relate to me at all, but now I'm telling someone else's story and they're sucked in and they're like, that's me. I didn't graduate high school. I was a teen mom. I'm a nurse. I'm a teacher. So sharing other people's stories. I know a lot of people get really nervous to do it because they're like, well, if I share their story, then the people are going to go join them. And it's like, no, they follow you for a reason. They're connected to you for a reason. So if you're telling the story, they're way more connected to you through you telling the story about this person. So it's very important to share other people's success stories, especially before you have your own. And that was all I did in the beginning. I'm like, oh, here's a pastor's wife. Here's a girl that, you know, was in corporate America and blah, blah, you know, like I was sharing everybody else's stories in the beginning too. And it shows how invested you are and how excited you are about what you're doing, and just all the possibilities. And it really paints a picture for people that's beyond just you sharing about your opportunity or your products or whatever. It's like there's real people attached to it. So, okay, perfect. Someone asked if I have a lives strategy. I do. And I have reels strategies as well. But this call is already an hour. So maybe we can break that up into different topics. And so this one will just be like an intro to social media and, you know, getting it dialed in for business and kind of helping people understand what they're going to do. But honestly, like if you are someone, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, you could make a whole page just around whatever it is you're passionate about. I see people all the time where I'm like, what do you know, that join network marketing. I'm going to speak specific to that. And they join network marketing and let's say they're like a fashion designer. And I go in their social media and I see them trying to be, you know, an expert of their company. And I'm like, but why aren't you like sharing different designs that you've done? Like, because you're going to attract other fashion designers. And then when you do share about your opportunity, you have so much value built on your like designs, and you've attracted people that are in the same industry as you. You're like missing a mark. I have girls that are like, that were in the fashion world, fashion buyers for like huge companies that are, you know, get into network marketing. And I'm like, where's the fashion on your page? Like you show up and you look like a boss, but why don't you help other people be fashionable? And we see those posts right now. I'm going to say it. And then you're going to be like, oh, there's the posts that are like people wearing clothes and people styling clothes. Like, I know you've seen those reels too. And it's like, that is great. That makes me go, oh my gosh, that is how I should style that. Like I should tuck in my top, you know, like I'm like, oh, and so the value there, and imagine what that does for a mass amount of people. And so having other things that you share that you are passionate about is going to keep you away from burnout. I'm telling you, it's going to keep you away from feeling like I'm just trying to do all this with only posting about 2 things and nothing's happening. It's like, kick it, forget you have that for a little bit. This was Eric Ward's advice. Like, forget you have that. What do you want to show up and share? Like, what do you want to do here? Who do you connect with? What do you relate to? What are you struggling with? Like, what, you know, make it about you, not about everybody else. Okay. So that's that. Katie said, I've watched you and your business transform and it's inspiring. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Okay, perfect. So this was an hour. I can't even believe it, but we will upload it to YouTube, and be sharing the replay for anybody that couldn't be on. And I will definitely make this a series. We can go into, lives and reels strategies. I probably could get that to be all in one together. And yeah, so make sure you join the 90-day habits challenge. If you haven't yet, and somehow you're seeing this, we have so much golden value in that. I have it linked in my bio on my Instagram. You can totally join in and stuff. And honestly, that the habits and the consistency are truly what have exploded my business. The top people in their field are like, they're consistent, like beyond, right? And so it's like, that's kind of the magic sauce is like, forget being creative, just focus on being consistent and like dumb it down for yourself and be like, I already kind of posted something like this, but I'm going to post it again. I kind of meant to say that and I didn't get to say that earlier. And I'm so mad at myself for missing that. But I will take my pinned posts and every 6 months, maybe I did say it, every 6 months, I will repost them again and repin them to the top. So they're fresh. My look changes a lot. I've had short blonde hair, red hair. My look changes a lot. So I have to keep it sort of consistent with what I look like now. And my pin post can't be all me blonde because the first thing you're going to be like, oh, these are old. I'm not going to look at them. You know, like there has to be something about that, like newness. And also the other thing, a piece of advice I got in the beginning of my network marketing business was every 3 months, invest in a photo shoot for yourself. Whether it's with your family, your team, just you doing some sort of lifestyle, like every 3 months, invest in that. It keeps you fresh. It keeps you having nice content to share. And I remember thinking like, I only ever did family pics maybe once a year, like that was all I was doing up until that point as a professional hairstylist. What did I need a bunch of pictures of me for? I felt dumb taking pictures of myself. But when people are following you and you're building a brand, like those pictures of you are important. You don't have to invest in that. You can literally have your own photo shoot day, maybe grab a girlfriend. Cause the husbands don't really ever want to do it, but I would say grab a girlfriend or a neighbor, say, will you take some pictures of me? And, be bookmarking things that you want to emulate. Like if you see someone in your company or that you admire, do something and you want to recreate it. Don't feel dumb doing that. I felt really dumb when I was at the beach in the rain, rolling around in a suit in the water, but I really wanted those pictures and I love them. So, and they serve a purpose. So anyway, and it's an investment, it's a write-off into your business. And so, I see, this is me. I take a lot of detours. We didn't finish the cover convo. Oh yeah. So I think for live videos, so we were talking about the covers not being super aesthetic. I'll show you guys something that I like to do. I think it's really important for the live or the reel to have a cover photo that matches whatever that was, because people are visual. So if they remember it a certain way, they're going to look for it that way. So like this video I did with Haley, it's literally just a still from that. People that are looking for that will see that and go, that's it. Sometimes I'll take like a screenshot. I did on my video with Frasier. So it was just us, but see how like I made it biggest social media mistakes. I do like a title of what it is for anyone that's going to be scrolling that might not tap on it otherwise. So I think you can take a screenshot and you can add footage to it so people can see, oh yeah, that was it. They were in the car. I saw them do a dual live. That's what she was wearing. She was wearing a blue sweater. Like it's more identifiable. I think oh yeah. Well, speaking of me in the suit, look at, I just love it. And it's not even one of my highest performing, but I can't tell you, I had a couple people interested and start conversations with me about being in a suit rolling around. And so it's not really, a lot of times the content you put out doesn't necessarily have to be where you're directing people to a certain topic and you only want them to talk about that topic with that post. It's really just to get people to talk to you in general and begin conversations with you in general. So I feel like the more kind of outlandish things I do, I get a lot more conversations started because of it. And then we can get into a conversation and talk about all the things. And late one night, if I am having a really great conversation and we're vibing each other's energy, they might tinker around my page and go look through my highlights and be inspired by the stories that I'm sharing and then tap on my poll. And now they're telling me they're interested because I get an email And they never said it to me in my conversation. That's like also the importance of having your page dialed in, because most people are scared to tell you if they're interested in anything. And so, yeah. Okay. Did I forget anything else? I literally just did this with your page yesterday to help one of my recreations. Yay. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, great. My DMs are always open. If anyone has a question, please no voice note. I just always say that because I'm bopping around really fast to my phone. So voice notes usually like take some time. But this was super fun. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. And bye guys.